Okay, today we're diving into something pretty wild. How a tiny 2-mile stretch of water, combined with a very old-school threat, could literally hold the entire global economy hostage.
2 miles. I mean, think about it. You could probably jog that in about 20 minutes, right? But this specific 2-mile gap could be the trigger for a global economic meltdown. So, let's figure out exactly where it is and why it's such a massive deal.
All right, so our story is set in what is, no exaggeration, the most important waterway on the planet. We're talking about a vital artery for the world's energy, and the stakes here could not be higher. We are talking about the Strait of Hormuz. This is the only way for ships to get from the Persian Gulf out to the open ocean. That makes it an absolutely essential route for a huge chunk of the world's oil. Seriously, you can think of it as the jugular vein of the global energy market.
And here is the absolutely critical detail. While the strait itself is, wider in some parts, the safe shipping lanes, the ones that massive supertankers have to use, are squeezed down into a corridor that is just 2 miles wide in each direction. This is our choke point. Every single one of those giant tankers has to funnel through this tiny bottleneck.
Now, having a narrow passage is a vulnerability, for sure. But that's not the whole story. The real danger is what could be hidden inside that passage. Let's get into the specific threat that makes this whole situation so incredibly volatile.
5,000! Just let that number sink in. That's the estimated number of naval mines in Iran's arsenal. That's more than enough to turn that 2-mile choke point from a strategic waterway into a deadly, completely invisible minefield.
Yeah, and the problem is, we're not talking about some big, clumsy weapons. As you can see, Iran can deploy these things using hundreds of small, fast boats. They can do it covertly, often at night. And once those mines are in the water, well, they become incredibly hard to find, creating this huge zone of just total uncertainty. So right about now, you're probably thinking, well, can a powerful navy just go in and clear them all out? The thing is, it is nowhere near that simple. This creates a classic case of what military folks call asymmetric warfare. A line from the source material really just sums it up perfectly. It's not about fighting one big, epic battle. It's about trying to stop hundreds of small, unpredictable threats that could literally pop up from anywhere at any time. This chart really lays out the challenge perfectly. Look, on one side, you've got the U.S. Navy's massive, high-tech ships built for fighting out in the open ocean. But they're also big, easy-to-spot targets. On the other side, Iran's strategy is all about these small, numerous, and pretty low-tech boats that are just perfect for the tight, cramped waters of the strait. It's a total mismatch, where being bigger and more advanced doesn't automatically mean you win. And to make that whack-a-mole problem even tougher, Iran has over 1,000 miles of coastline to launch these little boats from. I mean, just imagine trying to watch that entire length of coast to stop a few boats from slipping out to lay mines. It is a next to impossible task.
Okay, so it's a huge military challenge. We get that. But why does this actually matter to you or to me or to anyone not in the Navy? Because this tactical problem has massive, and I mean massive, global economic consequences.
The chain reaction is terrifyingly simple and incredibly fast. A few mines are laid. One ship has an incident. It doesn't even have to sink, just hit something. Instantly, shipping and insurance companies will halt all traffic. Nobody is going to risk a multi-billion-dollar supertanker, and just like that, the global oil supply gets choked off, and the economic shockwaves would hit gas pumps and stock markets everywhere, almost immediately.
And this, right here, is the crucial point. This is the ultimate form of leverage. For the cost of a few relatively cheap naval mines, a country can hold a multi-trillion-dollar global trade route completely hostage. It is an incredibly low-cost action with a catastrophically high-impact result.
So in the end, it all comes down to this one big question. This 2-mile choke point at Hormuz shows a fundamental weakness in our interconnected world. The incredibly complex systems we all rely on can be thrown into chaos by simple, low-tech threads in places we rarely even think about. It really makes you wonder, what other hidden choke points is our whole global system depending on?